Okay, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to talk about something called quiet confidence. And it's not about being the loudest person in the room. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. We're talking about a steady, grounded presence that people can actually feel before you even say a word. It's not arrogance at all. It's something much deeper. Let me ask you this, and just take a second to think about it. When was the last time you walked into a room and felt totally, completely at ease in your own skin? Without feeling that little urge to justify why you're there? For a lot of us, that's a feeling we're constantly chasing. So what is it we're actually aiming for here? Well, it's this. A steady, grounded presence where your self-assurance is just felt. It's not something you have to announce. Think of it like the antidote to that nagging self-doubt. It's an inner calm that radiates outward. You could say it's like a powerful whisper in a world that's always shouting.
But what about the flip side? What happens when we don't have this quiet strength? Well, a lack of confidence can seriously hold us back, and often in ways we don't even see coming.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because these behaviors often get mistaken for something else, right? Overcompensation, like bragging or dominating a conversation, can look like confidence, but it's actually rooted in deep insecurity. And people-pleasing? It feels like you're just being nice, but what it's really doing is slowly chipping away at who you are. And that constant anxiety? Well, that just becomes our new normal, a constant state of stress. Oh man, isn't this the perfect example of that anxiety in action? We've all been there. It's that mental soundtrack on repeat, keeping you up at night, picking apart every single thing you said, just desperately hoping you didn't sound, well, stupid. You're constantly looking for proof that you're enough. So, here's the real cost, the bottom line. When we're coming from a place of insecurity, we end up showing the world a filtered version of ourselves, a version that's been edited by our fear of what other people will think. The real you? It gets hidden away. Okay, so we've laid out the problem. Now let's get to the good stuff, the solution. We're going to dig into the psychology behind what it actually means to be truly grounded. And this brings us to a really, really important distinction we have to make. See, quiet confidence grows when two things are in balance. First, there's self-esteem. That's your inherent worth, how much you value yourself, period. And then there's self-efficacy. That's your belief that you can actually handle what life throws at you, your trusted confidence. You gotta have both. I absolutely love this idea from neuroscience. Think about it. When your own nervous system is calm and regulated, your breathing is deep, your heart rate is steady, other people's brains pick up on that. They perceive you as being in control. It has almost nothing to do with what you say. It's all about the nonverbal safety signals your body is sending out. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It feels like an anchor. Think about someone you admire who is just solid, grounded. They feel like that anchor in a storm because they've completely internalized this one powerful truth. They don't need anyone's approval to be worthy. So the big question is, how do we actually build this for ourselves? How do we get there? Well, that's exactly what this blueprint is for. We've got practical, step-by-step actions you can start taking today. The first 3 steps, they're all about the internal work. It starts in your head with step 1, anchoring and self-awareness, which really just means learning to catch your inner critic in the act. Then it moves to your body with step 2, regulating your body, using simple things like deep breaths to calm that nervous system. And then you build momentum with step 3, building with micro wins. These are just small, consistent actions that prove to yourself that you are, in fact, competent. So let's look at step 1. Here's that inner critic, that little voice that loves to pipe up, especially when we're in a new or challenging situation. I don't belong here. For so many of us, this is just the default programming. But here's the reframe. This is the powerful pivot. It's not about pretending you know everything. It's about consciously shifting your inner dialogue from criticism to support. Just that simple change. I'm learning, and I bring value just by being present. That's the foundation of real self-awareness. Okay, now for the final 3 steps. These are all about how you interact with the world around you. Step 4 is a big one, detaching from external validation. That means shifting your focus from what will they think of me to what do I know is true for me. Step 5 is practicing the power of pauses, using silence as a tool instead of rushing to fill it. And step 6 is visualizing your confident self, basically mentally rehearsing and programming your brain for success.
Let's just hang on step 5 for a second, because this one is a total game changer. Arrogance feels this nervous need to fill every moment of silence to prove it belongs. But quiet confidence, it embraces the silence. It's comfortable there. And because of that, when you finally do speak, your words carry so much more weight.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot of ground. We've defined quiet confidence, we've looked at the hidden costs of not having it, and we've laid out a whole 6-step blueprint to build it. So let's bring this all home.
Look, if you take away only one single thing from our time together, please let it be this. True, lasting confidence doesn't come from some big, flashy external performance. It comes from a place of inner knowing. It's about carrying the simple truth that you have nothing to prove.
And I mean, what a powerful way to put it, right? The most magnetic people in the world, they're not the ones shouting for attention. They're the ones who are so grounded in their own self-worth that their quiet presence alone is enough to command a room.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to take with you. What's one small way you can embody that quiet strength this week? Maybe it's just pausing before you answer a question. Or maybe it's catching one negative thought and reframing it. Or making one tiny decision based on your own inner compass, not someone else's. What's your first step going to be?